Welcome. For those of you just finding us, real quick, we're a vlog channel that chronicles our Halloween haunt, our prop development throughout the year, along with the spooky things that inspire us and give us ideas for our haunt. Please check out our channel, our intro, some of our videos to get an idea of who we are and what we're trying to do. Along those lines, we saw the new show on Netflix, Lockwood Company, and we thought it might be fun to watch and review each episode as we go and as we watch it, and specifically gear our review towards where we might draw inspiration from for our haunt and for props that we might make for next Halloween. Okay, so now we're on to episode 2. Another exciting episode. Picks up right where it left off, right into the action. Where we left off last episode, Lucy and Lockwood had jumped out of the burning house. The rescue teams helped Lucy, and she wakes up in the hospital. We don't know what happened to Lockwood at this point. Eventually then we do see Lockwood. He's being interrogated by police or some agency officials. They mention the agency that seems to have authority over these ghost fighters. It's called DPRAC, which I had to stop the video and look at the documents to get the explanation to what the title means. Apparently it stands for Department of Psychoclinical Research and Containment. I'm kind of guessing on some of those because it was kind of hard to read, but something like that. Anyway, it seems like they're in trouble because they broke some of the rules in their investigation, and now the homeowner whose house burned is owed £60,000. So they're in some trouble. Lucy returns to the Lockwood house where George has been doing some research, and he's found out that the haunted house was formerly owned by an up-and-coming actress who disappeared in the 80s. Lucy records a tape for her friend Nori, who was in the first episode and was ghost-locked in the coma. She's upset, and she, again, when talking, she goes on about how she feels that this ghost is trying to reach out to her and needs her help. And I'm thinking this is going to play a big part in the overall story of the series as it goes forward. That most of these ghosts, that they need some kind of help, or there's some kind of issue going on with them, and maybe going back to whatever caused this phenomenon in the first place. So that's kind of my guess as to where we're at right now. So George and Lockwood have a conversation where George urges Lockwood that he should fire Lucy before things get worse, and she's unstable and all this. But Lockwood's hesitant, and he believes in Lucy and thinks that she's one of them. And since Lucy has the ring that the ghost, whose name we now know as Annabelle Ward, is connected to, the ghost actually shows up in the Lockwood house, and there's another struggle. And finally, again, the ghost is dispersed through using a bunch of their techniques of using their iron swords and the chains and some kind of like phosphorus bombs or something that they have. Again, all these things look pretty cool, and maybe we could work into a Halloween prop in some way for next year. So I'm trying to think about how we could do all that. So Lucy convinces the boys that she needs to connect with this ghost, and that they have to discover what happened to her, how she was murdered, and also that they can help her. Lucy uses the ring and connects with the ghost, and goes through and kind of senses what happened in her final moments, and she kind of acts out the part of Annabelle, and I guess feels everything that she's feeling, and believes that she was with someone who she thought loved her, but this guy actually wound up strangling her and killing her, and then breaking her up in the house. So the guy from the agency calls Lockwood and tells him that he's got to get rid of Lucy because she hasn't licensed to do this work. She hasn't obtained the proper training. So again, he's pressuring him to get rid of her. So the trio realize now that if they solve this mystery, they'll get fame, and that will help them out of their debt and their trouble. So now they're going to they agree that that's the route they're going to take, and they find out doing some research that Annabelle was in a relationship with her co-star Hugo Blake, so they believe that he must be the guy who killed her, and now they're going to have to set out to prove that. And the agents, again, bring them in. This time they want to talk to Lucy, and what they want is they have this Hugo Blake in a containment room or some kind of a, examination room, and they want her to try to connect with him, to try to get the evidence out of his mind or whatever psychically, that he in fact did this. And Lucy tries, although she's resistant to doing this and says that she's not able to, but she seems to connect to the ghost again, and feels like her getting choked and stuff, and she runs out, and they leave the agency. They go back to the house, where they find a masked intruder has broken in and is ransacking the place, obviously looking for something. They engage in a fight with him and struggle, but eventually the figure gets away and runs down the street. And they believe that he's come and he's stolen the ring because the box that it was in is empty. But actually, as the episode ends, Lucy holds up the ring, and she had it around her neck the whole time. So it's saved, and they're going to continue on their investigation. So again, this was another good episode. Not a lot of different things in here that, as far as for our haunt. But again, the same kind of vibes we have. Again, not a whole lot of ghosts in this episode, only the one time where the ghost showed up. But again, it looks like cool, and it looks like hopefully maybe it's something that we can duplicate, maybe using the chicken wire. And again, I'm thinking about doing something with these ghost fighters and their tools and all that, and maybe setting something up. And I think people coming to our haunt might really get a kick out of that. So I think I'm gonna investigate going down that route. So that was episode 2. Again, another exciting episode, kind of a cliffhanger ending. So I'm geared up to see what happens in episode 3 now. As we're moving along, again, we're getting a little more information, a little more hints as to things that may have gone on in the years past that led up to all this with the ghosts, and so it's starting to unfold, and it's getting exciting. So we'll watch episode 3, and then we'll be back here with another episode. Okay? Thanks.